The robots are coming. It's really happening, and it's a $1 trillion investing opportunity. Maybe you remember stuff like the Disney character Wally, maybe Rosie from the Jetsons. If you're that old like me, you might have grown up watching those cartoons. What about C-3PO from Star Wars? This stuff's coming. These robots are fast becoming part of our reality instead of just being some sci-fi fantasy. Science fiction does become science fact, and it's coming. The question is, how can we take advantage of this, make the ka-ching on this multi-trillion-dollar opportunity? With the advent of artificial intelligence, there is a renewed interest in robotics, AI robotics coming together to make real humanoid robots. Why stop with just being able to chat or talk to an AI on your computer? We might as well give them a body to interact with them and have them do our damn dishes and take out the trash, right? Obviously, proponents of advanced robotics did not watch the movie Terminator. Feel like we got some problems here to talk about, guys. Of course, the rise of the machines would spell doom for our species. Don't make them too smart. That's the problem. But we won't go down that rabbit hole. Instead, let us look at how robotics can actually help us from a practical perspective and how it's a massive investing opportunity. And at the end of this video, I want to look at some of the opportunities where you can make that sweet ka-ching, okay? So stick around for the goods. Now, according to Precedence Research, the global robotics industry will be worth nearly $300 billion by 2032. Might even be a bearish estimate, might be bigger than that. But that is a compound annual growth rate of 14.7% from 2023 to 2032. And honestly, like I said, I think it'll be bigger since we are seeing a lot of companies right now vying for that pole position in the space: Apple, Tesla, OpenAI, and others. We must remember that almost everything will be some form of robotics in the future. Cars, taxi drivers, I guess those are cars too, domestic robots, all this kind of stuff, right? It's all coming. Robot taxis are already out on the streets. I bet even the dishwashers will soon be some kind of a robot as well. Also, scarily, of course, military is looking at expanding their robotic capabilities because, yeah, of course, they're going to make killer death robots. Psychos. Anyway, in 2023 alone, armies would spend around $2.4 trillion globally. And you can bet that the future expenditures, of course, are going to have robots in them as well. It's already happening. It's going to get bigger with drones and other killer robots, which is scary. I don't like that part of it. Now, one way of checking if a niche has any future is by looking if big tech companies are interested. And they're not just interested. Oh, no. They're rolling out the damn red carpet here, guys. Now, according to a Bloomberg report, Apple is reportedly looking at a home robot companion after it canceled its plans to enter into the electric vehicle space. Instead, they decided, let's enter into the home robotics space. Now, the iPhone maker is pretty secretive in its development, but it is reported that it wants to make robots that can actually follow users around their homes, do what they need to do. Hey, pick this up for me. Hey, put that up there. Hey, make some dinner for me. This will be, of course, be very popular with people who want pets but are restricted by their contract or simply don't want to clean up after their, fur babies. But also the real practical applications of having home companions. They're robots for lonely people, having your chores done, all this kind of stuff. Also, it's not hard to imagine that if paired with AI, it could become a very, very good housemate for people. Now, when Elon Musk talks, of course, people listen. He became the poster boy for the electric vehicle industry, and he was able to revolutionize the space industry as well with SpaceX's reusable rockets. He's got the Neuralink thing. That's absolutely crazy. And of course, he agreed with Midjourney's founder's prediction that we will be seeing a billion humanoid robots by 2040. Imagine the potential. That's insane. Now, this does not come as a surprise to me since Elon himself is balls deep into AI and robotics. Have you seen the Tesla robot? That thing looks hot, man. People are going to be dating robots, right? It's going to happen. Scary, but future's weird, man. Now, in case you didn't know, he was also one of the founders of ChatGPT back in the day, Elon Musk. He is also very proud to be the founder of Grok, which is his own AI, which I suspect was trained using his inputs because of its very candid, no holds barred replies. Also, part of the reason why I bought Twitter was to access all that data to train his AI. And of course, Tesla has its humanoid robot called Optimus. The 5'8" tall general purpose robot uses the same technology as Tesla's driver assistance system. Remember, Tesla's a robotics company. It's an EV company. Most importantly, it's a software company. Amazon, also known to be an e-commerce giant, but not a lot of people know, it's also invested heavily in robotics because all those people working at their factories, robots will do it a lot better. Amazon Robotics is a subsidiary of Amazon that focuses on mobile robotic fulfillment systems. You see, robots play a big role inside Amazon's fulfillment center. Fulfillment. What a name. Anyway, the company is not relying on real people to retrieve items from storage anymore. Robots are used instead. They make a lot fewer mistakes and they work a lot longer. Now, aside from this, Amazon, together with other big tech names like Nvidia, Intel, Microsoft, everybody is dumping truckloads of cash into robotics. In fact, they recently put almost $1 billion, those ones, particularly into a robotic startup called Figure AI, a company developing humanoid robots. The Figure AI robot looks super cool, by the way. And now this is just tip of the iceberg. Okay, since 2019, 1,500 robotics startups have raised $90 billion in funding. Big tech probably have some sort of secretive, I don't know, skunkworks type research creating projects that are going to surprise a lot of people in the near future. We're finally seeing robotics and AI technology get to the levels where this is all actually possible. Now, before we get into the investing opportunity side of this, let me interrupt the flow real quick to let you know what the best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency industry is. My newsletter. It's called Wealth Mastery. Every single week, my team and I are working hard to bring you the latest and the greatest insights in the market. We spend 40 plus hours a week so that you can read this on the train to work or over your morning coffee. We know you're busy. That's why we make this for you. We're covering meme coins, altcoins, deep dives on all kinds of stuff, NFTs, technical analysis charts, and much, much more. You can join 125,000 plus weekly readers for free. They love it. I'm sure you will too. Link in the description or the pinned comment over on X. Back to it. So for every innovation out there, of course, there are always pros and cons. Now, according to the research paper, Robots and Jobs, Evidence from U.S. Labor Markets by MIT professor Darren Acemoglu, that guy, Boston University professor as well, Pascal Restrepo. It will not be all sunshine and rainbows. Obviously not. According to the paper, for every robot added per 1,000 workers in the US, wages will decline by 0.42%, and the employment to population ratio goes down by 0.2 percentage points. Now, this is kind of crazy, but also not surprising, since from a business perspective, man, it makes way more sense to rely on a robot, to rely on automation for repetitive tasks instead of humans who, of course, get tired or prone to errors. We're not made to be robot-like machines. We're more creative than that. It's not what we're made to do. And of course, robots work 24 hours a day, 365 a year. Won't give any hard time about it. An Oxford Economics report also estimates that about 20 million manufacturing jobs will be displaced by 2030 due to humanoid robotics. But it's not all doom and gloom. In the paper, Robots at Works by George Gritz at Uppsala University and Guy Michaels of the London School of Economics, it was found that industrial robots actually increase the annual growth of a country's GDP by 0.36%. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but think of it this way. The US GDP is $25 trillion, and 0.36% is $90 billion. And that's just now. What about 10 years in the future? Another study from Wharton says robots are generally not replacing workers at all as well. Some firms may reduce their workforce after adopting robots. In general, the increase in automation results in more hiring overall. People will be able to do different jobs. It's always been the case with automation. More technology, more automation comes in, we get better jobs for people instead of crappy jobs. And if we're to believe the World Economic Forum, which, those guys. Anyway, the organization estimates that by 2025, automation will create 12 million jobs more than it destroys, which makes its net positive for society. So that's cool. So if everything plays out, the advent of robots will be a very good thing for the economy and for society as a whole. There's a caveat. Obviously, yes, it will be beneficial if you are prepared for the change. Of course, you need to have the right skills. And there are studies out there saying that we need to upskill the workforce and to do it very fast. However, I believe that it's not the only way to position yourself. Of course, you see, we tend to forget that all the technological marvels of the world, everything around us, everything was made by companies working together. These companies, of course, are businesses that earn profits from selling those products, and robots are no different. Robots are a massive economic opportunity. The good news, you don't have to set up your own robotics company or learn to develop AI language models or anything like that. You can actually just own a part of the companies that are actually doing this by buying their stocks. What do you think, of course, is needed to develop AI and robotics? Obviously, they need chips, for example. Oh, and a lot of them, a lot of them. So look at investing in potentially chip companies like Nvidia, like AMD, like Intel, Apple, even developing their own chips. You can also invest in popular tech companies that have an interest in robotics. Again, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. These guys are all leading the pack. Even Deere and Company, the agricultural equipment manufacturer, now also in the business of producing autonomous tractors, because of course they are. Now, if you want to go down the supply chain, of course, you can think about the companies that are supplying raw materials like copper, lithium, other rare earth minerals. All these commodities have been soaring recently. Everything's needed for electronics. I know there's a lot of startups out there too. If you don't want to get into the big multi-trillion-dollar market cap companies, I get that. You can take more risk and look for those startup companies, assuming, of course, that they'll all go to zero. Now, the thing is here, a lot of publicly traded companies will be in robotics soon. So you have to do your own research. But there's some interesting stuff out there. And of course, how can we forget about crypto? The development of AI and robotics actually go hands in hands, since robots will need to have some sort of AI to run them. And you need to have honest models, not run by the tech giants out of Silicon Valley, because we can't trust those people because they're so linked to the government and we can't trust the government. So look, for AI and decentralized physical infrastructure network projects that support cloud computing, you can look at them supporting AI too, things like Render, Edge Matrix Computing, Golem, or go for machine learning networks like BitTensor. Look, CoinGecko lists hundreds of crypto projects with AI and deep pin exposure. A lot of it's bullshit. A lot of it's going to go to zero, but one of those might be the gem that you're looking for. Okay. Speaking of which, I have discussed this in previous videos. I'll leave the links below if you'd like to check those out and learn some more about the AI crypto space, the AI DePIN space, and stuff like that. So robotics together with AI will definitely be part of our future. 100% it's coming. You understand that, right? But we also have to remember this quote. We tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short run and to underestimate the effect of the technology in the long run. Look back at Metaverse in 2021. Everybody thought Metaverse was going to come tomorrow. And then the other companies were like, actually, it's going to take years, guys. So we won't be able to own a robot similar to Wall-E or R2-D2 in the next couple of years. We should expect that robots will be as ubiquitous as the iPhone in the next decade or two. And that's wildly exciting. So don't fret about missing buying Apple stocks or Bitcoin for cheap, okay? Because robotics is now giving us the same opportunities right now, right here in the present. You're still early. Thanks for watching.